Well, thank you for joining me on exercise 3G. I'm going to be looking at 6C in this question. It says to solve for z as an element of the complex numbers z squared plus the conjugate of z is equal to 2. Well, let z equal x plus iy, and therefore z squared would be x plus iy squared, which is x squared plus 2xyi plus I squared y squared. Now, since I squared is -1, I squared y squared is -1 times y squared, so we'll put a negative y squared there. Z squared. All right, so let's do that. So x squared minus y squared is 2xyi. Okay, now conjugate of z will be x minus iy. So let's do this. Z squared is x squared minus y squared plus 2xyi. Add our conjugate, which is x minus iy, and let that equal to 2. There's no imaginary component, so I'll just say 2 plus I, 0i there. That way we can match the imaginaries with, let's join the let's say x squared minus y squared plus x, that's the real component. And the imaginary component is 2xy minus y. So we've just factorized the i's out and we put 2xy minus y in the bracket. Let that equal to 2 plus 0i. Matching the imaginary component with 0, we can see therefore 2xy minus y will equal 0. So let's factorize that. Since it's factorized, therefore y equals 0, or 2x minus 1 equals 0, which is x equals a half. So there are two solutions here. Let's consider the y0 first, and then the x is a half second. Let's take the real component. The real component equals 2. So x squared minus y squared plus x equals 2. Let's first substitute y equals 0. So we get x squared minus 0 equals 2. X squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. We can factorize that. And two numbers that multiply to equal -2. Add to give 1 is 2 and -1. All right, so therefore, x could equal -2 or x could equal 1. We've got our two solutions so far. Let's look at when x is a half. So substitute x equals a half and see what happens. So we get a half squared minus y squared plus a half equals 2. A quarter plus a half equals 2. Take the y squared across to be y squared. Make a quarter plus a half to be 3/4. 3/4, bring the 2 across to be minus. Well, we've got a 1 1/4 here, negative. And since that's not possible, we will eliminate this solution here because y has to be a real component. Y squared can't be negative. Yes, it can't be in a complex number either because we're dealing with x and y both being real numbers. So our solution is finished. We've only got two solutions, therefore x could be -2 and y could be 0. Therefore we're dealing with -2 plus 0i, or x could be 1 and y could be 0. Therefore we're dealing with 1 plus 0i, and there are our two solutions. I hope this has helped. Until next time, stay happy.